start recording. Okay, so we are about working on this project. So the question says, write HTML and CSS code to reproduce the following page. Okay, the following are the details about the appearance of the page. Make all headings green and make them use Garamond font or any serif font on the system. The code should be emphasized. The apple's picture name is green apple. It's also a link. All pictures should have no borders and should be 250 pixels wide. The middle section has a 2 pixel wide outset green border and background color of this. Every other line in the types of apple list is white and its font size is 120% as large as the other list items. The definition terms are bolded. Notice that there are 3 distinct sections on the page, from the left to right: main, about, and details. The details section shows an image and description when a type of apple in the list is clicked. The content inside each section should be 20 pixels away from all edges. So this question wants us to reproduce this thing. Yes, it wants us to reproduce this thing. This is the main. So we have the left, middle, and the right. Left, middle, and right. Now let's open our Visual Studio Code. So here I have a project. I've named the project apples, and I have all the apple images here. The images here. So now let me open the apples. So this contains all the types of apples that we will be using in the project. So before we start, let's create our HTML file and our CSS file and then link them and start working on it. So I name index.html and then our style sheet style.css, in HTML exclamation enter. Let's name it apple project, and then let's link our CSS. So that's our style sheet over here. So this is our style CSS, so style sheet, so we have nothing to do here. Now let's write anything and see in the browser. Let's preview it. You have to save it before you open your live server. Now we have hello world here. So let's check our style sheet. Let's check if our style sheet has been connected. So I'm checking using background color red. So you can turn on auto save so that it saves your work anytime it finds changes to it. Now let's see for ourselves. Background color is red, so it's working. Now let's go through the question and then use it to solve it. So it has 3 different sections: the left side, middle, and the right. So we have to create 3 sections. So we can have one section containing 3 different divisions, or one division having 3 different sections. Now let's create that one. So when we are our HTML, let's clear the hello world. Let's create a div, and then in this division we have 3 sections. We have 3 sections. We have 3 sections. With this section I will name it, let's name it left. Or from the question, I think from the question we're giving class names for it. Okay, main, about, details. Main, about, details. So this one is going to be main. class of about, here, class of details. So we have right now, we have our three sections. We have the main, about, and the details section. So next thing to do is, now from the question, it says make all headings green and make them use Garamond font size or any serif. So let me copy this font here. We'll be using it in our CSS. So now let's head into our CSS. It says we should make all headings, so H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. The color should be green. Green. Say make all headings green and make them use Garamond fonts or any serif font on the system. So green, and then let's change the font. So that's font family. So font family, we've already copied the Garamond or any serif. So this is going to be it for the first part of it. The code should be emphasized. So with the code, we are going to use cite for it. We are going to use cite for the code. Okay, right now we are done with the heading. Now let's define the structure of the website, then we move on to the CSS. So main, about, details. Main, about, details. So let's move on to the main right now. Main, we have our heading, we have our quote here, and then an image. So we have heading, quote, image, heading, quote, image. Now let's go and do that one. Okay, so let me split my browser and then the question so that we know what to be doing. Let me close this one here. Okay, so we have our heading. Let's make it H1. Title, apples. And then our quotes, we are going to use cite for it. It says an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Keeps the doctor away with an exclamation. Next, an image. So we are going to use the image tag. Image. So we are going to select the image with the name green apple. So that's the source, green apple. We are going to use it direct because it is in our working project. It's not in a different project, so you can call the file name with the extension directly. So we are going to use green apple. See, it pops up here, green apple.jpg. So we are going to use the first one, and then we are going to use an alt. That means in case the apple doesn't show, the image doesn't get rendered by the browser, there is an alternate text that will appear in case the apple doesn't appear. So we are going to write green apple for that one. So we are done with our left. Now let's check what we have in our browser. Okay, so this is what we have in our browser. We'll be working on the styling sheet, but now we are defining the structure of our work. We are defining the structure of our work. Now let's move on to the about. Let's move on to the about section. So in the about section, we have header and then list. We have header, list, and then in that one we have the same header, list. So the header, we are going to use H2 or 3. Let's use H3 for it. No, let's use H2 rather, sorry. So H2, some types of apple. Then we are going to use unordered list, UL, unordered list. Well, unordered list, wait, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 list items. So we are going to have 8 list items. So this is a shortcut for it. It means you should produce 8 of the list items. So first one, we have red delicious. Second one, golden delicious. Granny Smith. sorry, use the tab key. Should it be capital S? Crab apple. Color apple. Red room apple. Oops, what am I doing? Sorry. Ginger gold. Again. The last one is Fuji apple. So we are done with the top. Now let's move on to the next one. We have another H2. Other apples. And so we are going to give this one, let's use unordered. Let's use ordered list. So ordered list, we have 2 list items, so we're going to produce 2. Let me push it out a bit. Okay, we're going to use 2. So first one, Apple iPod. The last one, Steve Jobs. Now let's see what we have in our browser. So this is what we have in our browser. We'll be styling it very soon. Now we are not done. We have another one here, meaning let's break this one and put another list inside. So we can put list inside and give this one, this apple is poisonous, and this apple is poisonous. Do same for the Steve Jobs. Break it, give it you the tallest apple. Now let's preview it. Let's see what we have in our browser. Okay, so we have nice one. Okay, here. Now we can go on and install what we have. All right. Now we have to arrange everything horizontally. Let's see if we're given any styling properties for that one. No, by giving something, say the content inside each section should be 20 pixels away from all edges. So that one we'll be doing very soon. Now let's try and arrange everything horizontally, all the 3 sections. So what we are going to do is we are going to take the mother element, that's the div. We're going to take the mother element, that's the div, and then apply some styling to it so that it will position or arrange everything in it, all the 3 sections horizontally. So what we are going to do is we are going to call the div and apply display property called flex, and then give it a direction. Let's give it a flex direction to be row. By default is row, but let's specify it. By default is row. Now we have everything arranged horizontally. So this is what we are having right now. Next, now we have our headings to be green using this Garamond font or any serif. Next, this quote should be emphasized. So the quote that we use was the site, so we can call the site and then give it font weight. So you can choose from these font weight that you want, 100 to 900 or bolder. We are going to use what? Bold for it. Now let's check what we have. We check our progress as we move along. So right now it is bolding. Oops, we are using one. Let's go and change it and make it exclamation over here, and make that one exclamation. Yes, and we are good to go. Let's read from the question. It says the apple's picture name is greenapple.jpy. It's also a link to this website. Now let's copy this link address because we are going to use it. Okay, copy hyperlink. Now let's come to this place. Let's create an anchor tag. That's a link. Oh, already given us link. Now let's www.apple.com. Oops, apple.com. And then let's break this one and then shift this image inside it. We are going to use hold pause and then the up key, hold the alt key and then the arrow up. Now to push it inside, and now let's clear some space around it. Now our link, let's check and see if it's working. So yes, we have this link down here. You can see it down below, www.apple.com. that's a link over here to the Apple. So now let's move on to the next one. All pictures should have no borders and be 250 pixels wide. All pictures. So next we are going to target all images. Yes, all images. So it says what? All images should have no borders. We are going to set the border to be none. So our border is going to be none, and then a width of 250 pixels. So width 250 pixels. So that's going to be the width of all the images we'll be having. The middle section has 2 pixels wide outside green border and a background color of this one. So our middle section, we named it. Let's see the name we gave to the middle section. That's about. So our middle section will be dot about. So we are using a dot so that we will select the class name. So in case we want to select an element using the class name, we use dot followed by the name that is in the quotation mark. So with this section, this middle section, we gave it a class name of about. This is a class name about. So we are going to target this section using this class name, and we are going to apply the styling properties to it using this class name. So now let's move on to our style sheet. So we are going to use dot about. This is how we go by it, dot about. And let's see the property again. Has 2 pixels wide outside green border. Now let's give it border 2 pixels outside. Say it's green. So it's green, and background color of 99cc99. So you can give it a background 99cc99. So that's going to be the background for that side. Says every other line in the types of Apple list is white, and its font size is 120% as large as the other list items. So they are talking about the ones in white. I think the question is referring to the ones in white. So we are going to make that one white and make the font size 120. That means it's going to have extra 20% size of the normal font size of other list in that one. So now let's see what we have in our web browser and see what we are going to get. Okay, alright, so we are going to target it. So we are going to use, let's come to our HTML. So here is it. So that's this golden, so it's the UL. So it's in the about UL. So about UL and then the list item. So now let's see. Now coming. So it's in the about UL and then the list item. So because see how it has been arranged, the first one is black, the second one is white, the third one is black, the fourth one is white. So you see it's following a certain pattern. That means all even items, all even list items in there are white. All even list items in there are white. So we are going to use a pseudo class selector to target those ones and what style those ones as well. So we use this, is that colon semicolon. They are going to use this colon and use this property called end child. So we are going to use end child and give this one an argument, say even. So we giving it this even is going to select all the even list items in this unordered list. So we are going to select all of these ones. So with this one, this red one is odd, 1 is odd, 1 is odd, 2 is even, 3 is odd, 4 is even. So it goes on and goes on and goes on. So we are going to select this even, this even, this even. So that's what we are doing in our CSS. So it's saying those ones should be white and also 120%. So I'm going to give them color to be white, that's 123F, and then also font size. So font size to be 120%. Now let's check. So that's what we have over here, 120%. So right now we are done making all headings green, making them use the Garamond font or any serif font on a system. The code should be emphasized, that's what we did over here, cite bold, and then the picture should have no borders, images having no border with 250 pixels as stated in the question. The middle section has a 2 pixels wide outset green border and a background color of this one. So the middle section, that's what we gave it. So middle section is this one, the about 2 pixels outset green and a background color, we've given it to it. Every other line in the types of apple list is white and its font size is 120 pixels as larger as other one. That's what we've done. We're using the pseudo class element to select even all the even list items in the unordered list, all the even list items in the unordered list. That's what I've done right here. So using the even will make it, you can change it and make it 1. If you use 1, it will select the first one. If you use 2, it will select the second one. Using 3, it will select the third one, and so on and so forth. So we're giving it even, it's going to select all the even ones in it. So that's what we've done here. Now let's move on to the next one. It says the definition terms are bolded. Definition terms are bolded. Oh, that's the other list, that's the unordered list, sorry, the ordered list rather. So the okay, so we are going to change this one. So we are going to target the OL. Right now we are going to remove the 1 2 3 that we have beside it. This 1 2 we are going to move, this 1 2 from there. This 1 and 2 we are going to remove them from that side using this property. We are going to remove it using the list style type. So list style type, so we have all these list style type that you can apply on the unordered one. So right now we don't want any, so we are going to use none. So using none we remove it. So none, we have nothing there to show. Next we are going to make them bold. So the OL, we are selecting the LI and giving it a font weight as we did earlier for that one to be bold. Now let's check and see what we have. Oh yeah, we have our bold over there. So now see, they've all been bolding. See, because the reason why all of them are bolding is because we are selecting from this we are selecting everything here. So I say OL and LI, OL and LI. So what we are doing right now is we are selecting this OL and LI. So everything in this LI will be bolding, and everything in this LI2 will be also bolding as well. But we can choose to remove the bolding of this one because this one isn't bolding. Now let's do something about it. Times we are going to do another selection over here. So OL, LI, and then inside the LI I think we have unordered list inside. We are going to give it a font weight. Let's see, let's cross our fingers and see if that one works. Let's cross our fingers and see. Okay, we are going to give it normal. Okay, yeah, it works. Bingo. Now this one is what, having normal font weight. Yes, that's what we want. That's what we normal font width. Okay, so so now we are done up to this side. Yeah, we are done, we are through it, these ones. And it says notice that there are 3 distinct sections on the page from left to right: main, about, details. Though we've also done that one, so this one has been cleared as well. The details section shows an image and description when a type of apple in the list is clicked. The content inside each section should be 20 pixels away from all edges. So now let's target all the sections. So let's come to this place and target the section. So the section is saying they have what, 20 pixels away from the edges. The content inside, so when you're saying the content inside being away from the edges, that means you are going to use padding. Padding gives it a space inside and margin gives space outside. So you can put these concepts in your mind. See, padding is for spacing inside and margin is for spacing outside. Because they are saying we should give space inside the content, we are going to use padding instead of margin. So here we are going to use padding of 20 pixels. We're going to use padding of 20 pixels. Now let's see what we have again. Okay, we are going to give padding. See, there is a space inside them, space inside everything. Okay, and now next it says we are now moving to the details section that shows the description and everything of other. But before we move on to that one, I think there is something that we have to correct over this side about how this one is arranged here. So we can make this site a block element. Now let's make this site a block element so that it takes the full weight of the screen, so to push the apple down. Now let's make it so we are going to use display block, and let's hope and see that it pushes that one. Yes, now we have nice one over here. So making it block element, we have different display properties that you can apply to it. Giving it a block element will make an inline element block. Like block means it taking the full weight of its container. It will take the full weight of its container. We have block element, inline element, block element, inline. Inline takes the weight of its content, but block element takes the full weight of its container. That's the difference. So we making it block means it should take the full weight of its container. Now it's taking the full weight of its container. It will push the image down below it. Now we are done with the common layout. Our next goal or our next target is for us to be able to display each detail whenever we click on the type of apple over here. Let's head on to that one and get that one done. So we are going to do it over here. So what we are going to do is, because we are not going to use any other thing, they say we should use HTML and CSS to reproduce this thing. We are going to use a pseudo class element as we did. We are going to use a pseudo class element as we use to select this even ones here. For us to display that one, we have to get the details inside the list items so that we'll be able to display them whenever we click. Otherwise we are going to have we are going to find it difficult doing that. So this is my approach of handling such thing. Now let's click here, hold the alt key, click on this side, click, you hold still holding the alt key, we're clicking here, and then let's click the end of it. We are going to display something right after these ones. Don't get scared, it's something cool, you're going to enjoy it, trust me. Click. Yeah, now we have this. What we are going to do is but before that, let's do something. Let's give this one, okay, let's give it a class so that we will be able to style subsequent divisions or divs inside our project. Now let's see the name that we are going to give it to this one. Let's make it apple container. See, apple container will do, container. So we copy the name apple container, come to our CSS. Instead of using div for this side, we clear that one, use dots, and then paste the name for it for here. See, there will be no change because it's the same selection that we are doing. I'm doing this one because we are going to create different divisions in our list type to display our things for us. So we are going to give this one, see, a division with a class name. See, the class name show details. The class name show details. And then next we are going to get an image. First one is a red delicious. So red delicious, followed by our paragraph. Now what we are going to do is go and copy the red delicious text. Copy these ones. Let's copy these ones here. Okay, Control plus C, we are done copying. Then now let's paste it, or taking it out. Let's come. Now let's leave it like that. Now let's see what we have in our browser. Now you see we are having this one right now, this one here. So what we are going to do is we want to be able to position this one at the right hand side, of it, because from the question they say we should be able to display the detail here, not inside this one. We should display the detail here, not inside this one. So what we are going to do is we are going to give this list item, list item a position, so that we will be able to position the details to the right hand side, the right section. We are going to give this one a position relative, so that we will be able to position the detail to the right hand side. Now let's move on to our CSS and get that one done. So where is the U? Or let's do it beneath it, right beneath, so that we don't get confused. Where is our URL? Okay, yeah, about URL. So now let's comment our work so that we don't get say styling headings. This one is use control and then backslash main container. Images or pictures as you used to remember. You start it or give it, you comment it as you remember. So this is the about. The about is the middle section, so we are going to say the middle section. So this is the middle section, right? So this one will be for the types of apple. Will be here, and then this one will be other apples. Sorry, I don't know what I'm typing. Other apples. So yeah, these are for other apples. And then this one will go for all sections. Style, and then make it all section style. So we are going to show the details. So what we are going to do is we are going to select the list item from this type of apple here. So now we are going to do dot about and ul, give the li, give it a position relative. Yeah, we're going to give this one a position relative. Position relative is not going to do anything. We have different positions properties, position values that you can use. We have relative, we have static, we have absolute. Now let's just check them out and see. So clear this one and see position. So we have absolute, fixed, relative, static, and what? Sticky. By default position is static. The default one is static, but we are going to give it relative. Yeah, we are going to give it relative. So giving it relative right now. Now let's select the detail. we are going to select this show detail. So let me copy this class name here, Ctrl+C, copy the class name dot here. So we are going to give this one, position absolute rather. Yes, so position absolute. Position absolute means it will leave its place, and it will leave its place, and right now its position is going to be at the top left corner. Yeah, top left corner. Now let's check what we have. Yes, it's going to be like this, top left corner of this one. Yep. Yeah. Let's see if we have alternate way. I don't think giving let's see. Now let's give the position relative to let's give it to the middle one and see what we have, and comment this one out and see something. Relative absolute. Now let me save it and see. Refresh. Okay, still like that. Now let's move on. Let's undo what we did. Cool. Now let's position that one. Let's now position this one. So let's go to our detail. So when we give it a position absolute, we can now position it wherever we want. We can choose to move it away from the right, move it away from the left, move it away from the top, and move it away from the bottom. Now we are going to move it away from the left. So we use left and then give it any unit you want, any value plus unit. Now let's try, let's see 200 pixels and see. Now see where it is. Let's try huge one and see 500, moving it away 500 pixels. Cool. Okay, that's not bad. Now let's move it away from the bottom down, moving it away from the bottom. Let's use 150 pixels and see what it's going to get. Oops, where is it? Sorry. Let's try the top product to 150 pixels. Okay, 150 pixels is too much. Let's try to see something. Okay, -10. So then you'll be playing with the values for you to get what you want. Play with the values for you to get what you want. That is the goal. You play with the values until you are satisfied with the position you want. Okay, I'm cool with this one. I'm cool with the position that we are having right now. So let's recap how we did the whole thing. Now we selected the UL, the list items, all the list items, because we are going to apply them to every list item in that one. We gave it position relative. Position relative is not going to make it move, or it's going to be at its position. Whether you move it and move it to the left, move it from the right, top, bottom, still its position is going to remain for it. Yeah, it's not going to leave the place. By giving it position absolute, it's going to leave its place. Yeah, it's not going to leave any trace there. It's going to leave and start afresh from a new place. So we gave the UL position relative so that we will be able to position the details that is within the list item here. So when you come to our HTML right now, this is our list that we gave it position relative. Yeah, we gave this one position relative and gave this one position absolute. So this one is position relative, this one is position absolute, this one is absolute to this list item. So we can move it anywhere we want from this list item. So it's being moved based on this list item. Its position is being moved or calculated based from this list item. Now that we have our details showing, this is not what we want. We are not done, but this something that you say, hooray, we've done something. Now what we are going to do next is for us to be able to click it and show it, click for it to display, click for it to display. Now it should be none. We don't have to see anything here. So by default we are going to hide this one here. So now let's move on to our style and then move on to our show details. So So we are going to give it display. How do you want the display to be done? We have block, as I've said earlier on, taking full weight of the screen. We have different properties that you can apply, but in this case we are going to give it none. None means we are not even going to see it. It's not going to even show anything on the screen. This is what we are going to do now. So right now it's none. So what the question is telling us to do right now is the details section shows an image and a description when type of apple in the list is clicked. The details section shows an image and a description when type of apple in the list is clicked. So list, now we are going to make selection based on this one. So we are going to select the about li. So we are going to use a pseudo class that's focus, and then we are going to select this show property, this show detail, and then give it display to be what? Block means it should take full weight of its current position, and then give it color to be black. The reason why we are giving it color to be black is that some text are going to be white. Yes, based on what we did here. Because some are going to be white. The details that will be placed in this one will have the color white property in this. The details that will be placed in will have white in it. So we are going to make everything black whenever we click on it, so that you will see it at the other end. Now let's check our progress. So what we are doing is that on focus means whenever you click it, whenever it's being clicked out, whenever the thing gets focused, it's going to what? Select the detail and make the property, the display property, to be what? Block. And then whenever it loses focus, it's going to lose that display property of block. Now let's see what we have in our browser. So this is what we have. Now whenever we click, oops, I think there is something. Now let's check what you did. So focus, let me see. Now let me use something, another one, active, and see. Let me save it and come to our browser. Let me refresh it and see. Okay, yeah, it's rather active. Sorry, it's active. All right. So what we are doing is that whenever this the list item, or any of the list item, you are saying that any of the list item get, whenever it is active, we want to select the detail. So whenever this list item is active, we want to make this show display. We want to show this one, and whenever it is not active, we don't want to show it. So whenever it's active, we show this one, and whenever it's not active, we don't show it. That's what we are doing here at the CSS style. So whenever it's active, we select this one and then what? Show it and make all text black. And whenever it's not active, it goes back to its default settings, its default property and value pair. That you are not going to see anything in there. Sorry. So now we are almost through with it. It's left with the other ones, then we are done. So now we can copy this one, paste it for the golden one, change this to the golden delicious. This golden delicious, yeah, golden delicious, and make this one golden delicious. And then now let's move to this place, copy golden delicious. You know that golden delicious apple. And now let's paste it in our text editor here, and let's bring this one aside so that we don't make our work difficult again. So come here. Okay, yeah. Next. So now let's copy and just paste them so that C. Let's paste them for all the 8 ones. So you can, as I said, you hold the Alt key to select them, make your work easy, and then paste them. Now golden delicious is done. We want the gold. We have the Granny Smith. See Granny Smith here. Granny Smith. So now let's check for granny. Granny, where is granny? Granny. Okay, let's select granny. Never heard of granny apple before. Now you're going to paste it here. Okay, next one, we have the crab apple. Now let's search for our crab apple in our list. Oh yeah, we have our crab apple right here, which you can see. Next, gala apple. Have the gala apple. Gala apple. Now let's search for a gala apple here. This granny, ginger, crab. I'm sure these are gala apple. These are gala apple. Yeah. And then next one is a red roll. That's a red roll. I think I found it on top. Where is red? Okay, red roll is here. See how simple and easy it is. HTML and CSS is very fun. Trust me, it's very fun. Left with two more. Ginger. And let's do that for ginger. Sorry, ginger. Where is the ginger? Oh, did I pass ginger? Okay. Ginger is quite long. So done copying ginger. So why would I put ginger here? And boom. Next is the Fuji. So we are okay. Fuji is the last one. Then we are moving through it, and then we will wake up whatever we've learned from this tutorial. Now Fuji apple. Home. Okay, now let's save it. Let's cross our fingers. We are not going to do anything because they are having the same properties. Yeah, the same list that we are selecting, the same class name, so we are not going to do anything to these ones. So the property that I apply to the first one is going to affect every list and then show details we have in the browser in our HTML. So now let's cross our fingers and see what we have. Okay, we have our red apple showing there. We have our golden delicious. We have our granny, crab, or everything is working perfectly. So when you click on, it shows. Let me see. Some is overriding now. We'll be handling that one very soon. We don't want anything to go overboard. Okay, so let's do something concerning the weight of it. So let's add something when it shows the details. Let's give it a weight to be 150%. Yeah, we want to increase the weight of it. Now let's see. Saw that one, still not working. Oops. Guess we can copy this weight, cut it and place it here right now. Let's save it and refresh. Let's see what we have. Still not working now. Okay, show details. Wait, let's make it fixed value and see instead of the percentage. Maybe it's not taking anything percent. refresh. So 150 might be small. Wait, sorry, not 5,000. So you have to be playing with the weight, the unit, the size. If you try 150 it's not working, try 170. Try 170 is not working, try 500. If you think 500, sorry, if you think 500 is too big, you can reduce it. That's how it goes. You see, I tried this huge number and now see it's working perfectly for us. See, it's working perfectly for us. It's working perfectly. Now we are through the project. So what we are going to do is we are going to recap. We are going to recap whatever we've done in the work. So it looks quite something like a lot, but we just pasted certain things. So what we did first is one, we defined the structure of the HTML file. That's what we did first. Define the structure of it and then linked it to our CSS file that we created here. That's the style.css. We linked it to it and then we created one big div that will contain the different sections. We created this div that will contain this different section and then we named it Apple Container. That's the class name that we gave it to it. So the class name will help us to style this container. Giving this class name helps you to style the container. We are giving this class name of Apple Container, and then we further created 3 different sections. We moved ahead and created 3 different sections. That's main, about, details, main, about, details, main, about, details. And inside the main we have our H1. Inside our main we have our H1. Let me collapse this one and then show. Let me collapse this one and then show something with respect to what we are doing. Yeah, so we created this one, the left section, that's the main one, having H1 apples. This is our H1 apples. The site, that's the quotation, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. That's what we have over here. And then this one, this image, this is the image. The reason why we are giving it an anchor tag, a link, is because the question said so. See, the apple's picture name is greenapple.jpg, greenapple.jpg. It also links to HTTP. There is a link that they were giving to us for us to use it. So we have to wrap it around this image. Wrapping it around this image will give us that link. So we are done with the left section, talking about what we did in the left section in our style sheet. We come to this part, it says that we should make all headings green and make them use Garamond fonts or any serif fonts in the system. So that's what we did here. The color is green. This is the font family that we were told to use. Now we are styling the main, this one, the main container, that's the Apple Container. The class name we gave it to this one. We are giving it display flex row so I have to arrange the sections horizontally. This arranges the sections horizontally. It arranges its children horizontally. That's main, about, detail. It will arrange them horizontally. That's in the row. And then coming to the side, we gave it font bold because we have it in our question saying why is it the code should be emphasized. So we made it bold and gave it display block. We are giving display block to take the forward of it parent container, forward of its parent container. That's what we did, taking the forward of its parent container. And then yeah, we gave all images border none with 250 pixels as said in this question, as said in the question that we have. In the middle section, 2 pixels wide outside, green border, and a background color of 99cc99. So that's what we did for the middle, 2 pixels outset green, that's for the border, background 99cc99. That's what we have. And then every other line in the type of Apple list is white and the 8 font 120. So this is the middle section. Now we selected this middle section, moved to the UL, that's the unordered list. Now this is our middle section. We moved to this UL further li, and then selected all even items, and gave it this property, because from the question we are what styling the even item, making them white, font size to 120%. So that's what it said, and what we are true with it. One, definitions of other terms should be bolding. So definition of other terms, that's the one we have beneath here, this other apples. So the definition is bolding, so we bolding that one. So when we applied that one to it, it affected everything in it. Then we made the unordered list inside, this unordered list inside, we gave it font weight to be normal. So it will only affect this Steve Jobs and Apple. That's what we did for that one. Okay. Notice these sections we are done. The detail shows an image and description of the image when clicked. So when clicked, so using this first one as an example, so we gave the list item position relative, so that we will be able to position our detail to the right hand side. That's the detail section. That's what we did. We gave it relative, so we'll be able to position our detail to the detail section. So when we gave this one detail, we went on to select the show details. That's the container containing the detail of the apple. We gave it position absolute to leave it position, so we'll be able to move it around freely. Then we push it away from the left 50 pixels, and for instance to the right negative 110 pixels, so you can play around with it. If you give it position, if you use the top right now, if you make it 110 pixels, it will push it away from the top, but we're giving it negative 110, it will move inside. So positive is coming down, negative will be going top, and then we are further giving it display none, because we don't want it to show it at the instance, and we gave it a weight of 500 pixels. So next is for us to be able to that whenever we click on the item, the type, it will show this one. So what we are going to do is we are going to select that list item. So this list item, we selected it and gave it pseudo class elements. We are giving it a pseudo class, so we're giving it a pseudo class selector active. So whenever it's active, we are going to select this show display and give it display block, and the color should be black. We are using black because we gave some of the list item white, that's the even ones, so we have to use black so that their display property, their details will be black as well. So that's what we have here. And then what do we have in the section? So the content inside each section should be 20 pixels away from the edges. So now we have to select all the sections and give it a space inside. Spacing inside is padding, and spacing outside is margin. So whenever you see that you have to give it a space inside, that means you have to give it a padding. Whenever you see a space outside, that means you have to give it a margin. So that's all to this project. Proper tags and clarify description. So don't forget to use proper tags for all elements that clearly describe the content on the page. So if you use all the elements, proper element for it. So we are through with this project. That's a very nice simple project, and fun project. So this is everything to this project. Hope it helps. Bye.